The Ink and Paint Club podcast is intended for mature audiences. I know we're usually talking about kids' cartoons and stuff, but there's going to be naughty language. Anyway, listener discretion is advised.
I have some hot takes that I'm excited to share.
Hot takes. Hot takes. I like hot cakes, which I like.
I want some. Fuck you. Damn it.
You're listening to the Ink and Paint Club podcast, your weekly home for animation reviews and discussions.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Ink and Paint Club podcast here in the future. It's kind of on fire right now, but, you know, we gotta look on the bright side. My name is JD. I'll be your host, and with me is my usual co-host, Matt.
Yes, your usual co-host.
Shut up.
And we lost Kyle because he doesn't give a shit about Steven Universe.
Yeah, Kyle died due to disinterest. But we brought in a specialist here. You know him, you love him. He's been on the show a handful of times. Welcome back, Nolan.
I'm a specialist? Are you fucking kidding me?
You're special at
Just
something,
roll
I'm
with
sure.
it, man. Damn.
Okay.
Trying to give you some props here and just
trying to
throw
give
me under the bus. I don't know.
Trying to give me clout?
Sure.
Okay.
All right. But yes, we are talking about Steven Universe Future, the epilogue to the epilogue that was the Steven Universe movie that's been running back before the end of the year. But we've had a few weeks.
Of December, essentially.
Yeah, mostly. But we've had a few weeks to kind of ruminate on it, and so we're going to be talking about the first 10 episodes because I think there's supposed to be more, but we don't know how many or when they are coming back with that. But they seem to be on a break at the moment, so we figured it'd be a good time to just kind of do a recap on what we've been presented with so far.
Steven Universe on a hiatus. What a concept.
So I guess we can just kind of start with our general feelings about this miniseries or whatever. And Nolan, since you're our guest, why don't you hit us with your general feelings before we get into the nitty gritty?
I was like, wow, this is actually what Steven Universe should have been the entire time. Holy shit. The townies actually fucking matter. Oh my god. Crazy concept.
That's a little harsh.
It's also correct. But yeah, I really like Future a lot. It solves a lot of the problems that I had with the show proper, because I dropped off. When did I drop off? It was before, I think it was right when the diamonds, white and yellow, were redeemed. No, yellow and blue, sorry.
Oh, so you dropped off pretty close to the end then.
I think so. I dropped off a little bit before that because I was just getting sick of all the towny bullshit. Like, I was just so exhausted. It's just like enough.
So did you never check out the end to the original show or the movie? Or
I watched a bit of Change Your Mind, and I did see the movie. I liked the movie a lot as well.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, yeah, you kind of got an idea of what happened and Change Your Mind from watching the movie, so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I sorry, I'm trying to think. I got lost in thought for a second. But no, yeah. Basically, I just really do like how Future has changed and evolved the show proper, because it's also a lot more condensed, and a lot of it is focused on Steven's character, which is really nice, and he actually has a good inner conflict now, thank God. So yeah, that's those are my hot takes.
All right.
I think the original show dropped off, and then Future and the movie picked it back up.
I got you. Matt, what did you think?
I love it so far. I feel like the original show would have been fine if it stopped off where it stopped off. I mean, I guess it did technically stop off where it stopped off, because that's the end of Steven Universe. No future, no movie. That would have been fine where it was. It would have been like a little bit weird to end it there, but it definitely had a bit of a finality to it. The movie was a really good follow-up to that. That would have served as like a great finale to the series too. But I'm glad that we do have Future as this epilogue to the show to sort of address like a lot of stuff that didn't get addressed like in the original show or the movie. So we can kind of see a bunch of stuff that hasn't happened yet between, like kind of like what Nolan was saying. There was a bunch of I don't know, or there was like a bunch of concepts that we didn't get to really see to fruition that I'm glad that we do get to see here. I'm a fan of the Townie episodes, so that's never really been a problem for me. I honestly don't really have I don't really have many problems with Steven Universe proper. There might be like little nitpicks here and there, like for individual episodes, but like as the show in general, obviously I've talked about it on that was on the episodes for Change Your Mind and for the movies. So I've already talked about how much I love this show, but Future is amazing so far. I cannot wait to see the what comes after these the hiatus. But as far as the first 10 episodes, after we hear JD's sort of take on Future so far.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just say I do not feel I'm not in the same camp as you guys. I do like Future so far, at least in the stories that they're telling, but I do find it wholly unnecessary to the overall plot of the show. Because I feel like, yes, I do like that it's delving into like Steven's inner conflicts, and we're finally getting some resolution on that stuff. That's good. I like that they're getting into that. But for me at least, the entire the central conflict of the show was wrapped up with the actual end of the series with Change Your Mind, where they wrapped up the conflict with the Diamonds repent for what they did, and you start to see little bits and pieces of Steven is going to work with them to fix the damage that was done. And then we got the movie, which I felt was a fine epilogue to that, where you kind of see like this other incident with his mom that you didn't know about, and that kind of gets resolved. But you also see him, starting to go to all these other planets, kind of right the wrongs of the Diamonds, and starting to build a home for gems on Earth. And I thought that was perfectly fine. But now we've got this. I don't know how long this miniseries is going for. It's at least gone for 10 episodes so far. And I like that they're focusing on Steven and his conflicts that they didn't get to in the actual show. But as an overall like plot, other than developing his character further, I don't know where it's going. Like, I don't know what it's supposed to be leading to, because it's like the entire, like I said, the central conflict of the entire show has been solved already. It's long been done, so it's like I guess I don't really see the point of Future, but I am enjoying it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I get you. That's like I was saying. It would have been completely fine if they had left off after Change Your Mind or after the movie, but now there's this for people that want more Steven, want more of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been pretty good so far.
Yeah.
So should we just kind of just go down the list of episodes and talk a bit about each one?
Sure. Yeah, that's probably the best way to go about it. I don't know. Sorry, I've been a little frazzled today.
Just thinking about Steven and the way he just futures.
Yeah, all the futures and stuff. So, I mean, the series starts back off like pretty much almost where the movie leaves off, where Steven's gotten like a gem town going and like a gem school for them to learn, that they don't have to, be the way they were designed for, and they're able to shape their own destiny now, and it kind of helps them with that. But you also kind of get to visit Jasper, see what she's been up to.
Not much. She's been ripping grass out of the earth and living in a cave.
Because she's so fucking bitter.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you be though too? Your whole purpose is to like fight these wars, and now there's no more wars to fight.
Go to fucking clown college, idiot.
And then at the end, Steven goes Super Saiyan, and
and then he keeps on doing that throughout the rest of Future so far.
He sure does, and it keeps fucking with people because Steven needs to go to a fucking therapist or something. I mean, I don't know what therapist on Earth would be able to understand anything he's gone through, but like, damn, he needs to talk to somebody.
I did like the first thing that happened in Future is we got to see Jasper, just because we'd gone through like pretty much all of like the last season of the original show, I think, where Jasper was corrupted and bubbled, so we only got to see her at the very, very end of Change Her Mind when she was uncorrupted, but we haven't seen what she was up to. But the whole fight scene between her and Steven was very cool, and to kind of see them bond a little bit too, like right at the end there, because that's nothing that is not something that we've seen from Jasper before either. It's kind of like the start of her much awaited redemption arc.
Mm-hmm. And I that is one of the plot lines of Future that I am interested to see if what develops with it, because I do think Jasper's dilemma, I guess, is interesting. And like you said, she's designed for combat, and there's no more wars to fight. So it's like, what does she even do with her life anymore? So I mean, that I am interested in seeing. Yeah. The episode after that, I feel like there's bits and pieces of these episodes that feel relevant, but I'm feeling like a lot of them, or at least a few of them, are kind of fillery. And it's like, if you're going to be making a miniseries, why would you make filler episodes?
Well, I would say the whole show so far has felt like filler episodes, but honestly, that's refreshing given like what that whole sort of last bit of the original show was like. Like, it's nice to just get these sort of like slice of life episodes, especially because it makes sense, because there's no sort of and it's the whole point of like Steven's arc right now, is that there's really like no one else to help now, or there's nothing else to sort of set right. I mean, they're like, of course, teaching the gems and stuff, but it's well, anyway, sorry, what were you saying?
Well, I was gonna say, like, the second episode where Steven is starting to like give job placement to some of the gems, in a sense, I mean, it kind of feels important, because he ultimately learns that, like, maybe they don't really need Steven's help anymore, and that maybe he's kind of past that part of his life and he really doesn't know what to do. But like, the whole shenanigans that comes with like, oh, we're putting in gems in jobs they're not suited for, but Steven's all like, no, they need to be trying new things. It just seemed kind of goofy and like fillery, and I'm like, okay, cool, I guess. I don't know. I didn't really. I don't know.
You didn't like little Laramere living all the human screams, or?
I did think it was funny, but I don't know. I guess for me,
you didn't like Uncle Andy showing up.
You gotta get Carl in there.
Yeah, but he didn't voice him though.
No. I don't know. I just guess for me that I feel like if they're going to be coming back and it's billed as a mini series, it's not like another season of the show. I feel like every episode should be kind of like, really focused on whatever it is they're trying to be building towards. And at least for me, that episode just kind of felt like, yeah, we're getting a little to the point where, Steven is trying to figure out like what he really needs to be doing with his life now, that he's kind of like set up, gotten Gem Society kind of reformed and stuff, and like they're kind of figuring things out on their own now. So it's like, what does he do? But I felt like that was maybe a minute or two of the actual episode, whereas the entire rest of the episode was just kind of like goofy shenanigans. And it was like, guys, if you only have a limited amount of time, I mean, I think you should be using your time maybe a little wiser. But
I don't think it's totally out of line with like a lot of what the original show did in regards to that, though, just because there were episodes of the original show where there was plot overarching plot critical stuff that didn't really happen, until like the very end.
And then that's for the show. That's fine. I mean, and again, this is all just for me. I mean, I'm not saying this is how it needs to be, but for me, if they want to do goofy episodes where like they're not doing a lot of plot heavy stuff in the regular show, that's fine because they've got like a 22 episode season, and hopefully the promise of a season after that. So it's like, yeah, they could take an episode or two to kind of goof off, to kind of offset the heavy stuff. But again, because this is billed as a mini series, this is like an epilogue to the show. I feel like they should spend the entire time being focused because they have more of a limited time frame that they would with.
You're worried that they're going to pull another Samurai Jack.
What do you mean?
That they're going to be doing this whole mini series and then they're not going to like resolve it like all until like the very, very end or something.
Honestly, kind of.
I feel like they've got a better handle on it so far because
Maybe.
I think they know exactly how many episodes they were getting, that they know how to divvy it up in just the right way. I've seen people that have issues with Steven Universe's pacing, but also have to take in mind like the way that the show is released and stuff. Like now that it's all out and you can sort of binge it all, like it's not a problem. But now that we're back to sort of like getting weekly episodes, at least for these first 10, I can see why people might be having that problem because they're waiting like, whole weeks for these episodes to come out. And then they're like, oh, this stuff's not happening, as, fast as it should be happening, or, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Nolan, you've been kind of quiet over in there. What are your thoughts on this?
I think the whole core of the show is dealing with Steven and his emotional issues, and I just feel like they've been doing that. That's been the focus, the core focus of the epilogue series. So I thought they were doing a great job.
Okay.
At not being fillery, but
Sure. Yeah.
What about the first 2 episodes in particular?
I remembered the Jasper one. What was the second one? Refresh my memory.
The second episode's where they're Steven and Amethyst are doing the job placement.
Yeah, no, I like that one a lot too because it focuses on Steven feeling as though he needs to fix everything, and instead he fucks everything up, and it leads to shenanigans. But like the shenanigans are the consequences of the core issue he has, which is I fucking need to stop controlling other people's lives and get a hold of my own, but I don't want to admit it.
Yeah.
And then in the Jasper one, I think it's a great start too, because he starts like, that's the very start of him, having those conflicts with himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to learn from Jasper, and Jasper kind of is like, no.
Fucking nerd, fuck off.
Yeah.
I think that'll definitely come back though. We're definitely gonna. I feel like Jasper's gonna have a pretty big role in. To not spoil like where we're at the show at the moment, but kind of like where it's heading. I feel like Jasper might be playing a key part in sort of bringing Steven back to where he was. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I definitely have a feeling that Jasper's going to come back and have some kind of a.
Definitely.
Yeah.
People love Jasper, and I think they know. So.
Right.
I will say it was interesting because I thought the thing with Jasper was going to be a lot more dramatic than it was, and it turned out to just be a spar.
Yeah, it was kind of a quick thing, but I think even for as little time as actually spent with Jasper, I think it was enough to like kind of give you the conceit of like, all right, this is the direction we're going. And it's at least a good start to things.
Yeah, especially because we've already seen Jasper fights like, a lot through the show too. I think we've seen like 3 or 4 major ones already. So it's sort of like a taster for sort of like, oh, cool, in the very first episode of Future, like Jasper and Steven just have a full on fight, but not like a full on fight. They're just sort of, spar.
Yeah. So I do think the third episode, at least, I think kind of picks back up. In the sense of like kind of really focusing on Steven's character more. I like that they bring a bunch of like actual rose quartz down. They all look like his mom, but like have their own personalities, and just like seeing him, and I love his fucking dad. He just pops up. He's just like, "Hey, Dad, you want to stay for dinner?" He's like, "Nope." Just pieces out. That's all he does for the whole episode.
Nitpick for me, but like the timing on that animation was slightly off, and it still bothers me.
I feel like that was intentional, like because the way that it was awkward was sort of how awkward the scene was too.
No, the phoneme itself was off. Like the way he said "nope" was kind of off. Like the timing of it was off. It doesn't feel intentional to me, at least.
I'd have to go back and look at it.
Just everyone getting super awkward because there's all these rose quartzes everywhere. They're all having to hide out in the bathroom at once.
Yeah. But I mean, I do like that, like, all these actual rose quartzes are coming in, and they don't have, like, any idea of the beef that Steven has with his mom.
Or that anyone has with his mom.
Right. So it's like, they're just like, hey, you're Steven Universe. You're like the one guy who like reshaped our society, and you're a cool dude. We want to hang out with you. And he's just all like, you look like my mom. And I have unresolved feelings.
You want to have a sleepover?
Oh, God. And it was kind of like funny to see these like different personalities of Rose Quartz, where you get one that looks exactly like his mom, like with the same hairstyle and everything, but she didn't really say anything.
Because she knew how fucking awkward it was, but didn't want to ruin anything.
Right.
And
then you get that hippie one, which I feel was like maybe a little over sexual, but
and they get the really excitable one.
Oh yeah, the one that was like all happy and stuff. So you kind of see a little bit of like the actual Rose's personality. So maybe I feel like that's maybe kind of why it was awkward, but like just enough to make them their own little characters.
And they were kind of representative of like a bunch of different aspects of Rose Quartz's personality.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that was, I thought that was very neat. And I'm wondering if, I don't know, she's sort of, because they've talked about that in the show before, where a Pearl kind of crafted Pink Diamond's Rose Quartz Sona, and like, and she was hanging out with her. So I'm wondering if she sort of patterned her like personality off of other Rose Quartzes that she met. Like, we kind of get an idea of like what Pink Diamond's personality is before doing all this Rose Quartz stuff, but you know, she wasn't really quite like that yet. But I mean, like, you know, millennia of you know, living will definitely change you. So
right.
But it's still a fun episode. I would like to see the Rose Quartzes come back at some point, because
they kind of get back in their spaceship at the end.
Yeah, just because, you know, now that
figurative bus.
Now that the whole sort of situation has been diffused between them and Steven, it would be nice to actually see some interaction where it's not really freaking awkward.
Yeah. And honestly, I feel like that episode pairs nice with the episode after it, where you kind of get to interact with Pink's Diamond's Pearl, the one with the crack in her face.
It's volleyball,
which is a stupid name, but
no, it's a perfectly fine name. It's a fine name for a Pearl.
Sure.
Fucking rude.
But I did like, it's kind of like how the movie showed you, like, oh hey, did you think Rose Quartz was shitty before? Well, just you wait. We got another dose of that with volleyball. Because like she's like, you know, Pink wasn't like always this happy-go-lucky you know, person. You know, she got violent sometimes, and like that's, you know, very heavily implied that's where volleyball got a crack in her face from. And they go to like this gem rejuvenation station, and like they can't fix the crack in her face.
Yeah, because it goes down to being more like mental and not.
It's a literal emotional scar. But I did.
Fine. This is fine. I'm
right.
fine.
Yeah.
This
exactly. Yeah. But no, I did like their interaction. I liked that. It really kind of showed a contrast with, you get Pink Diamond's Pearl and you get Rose Quartz's Pearl. So, you know, volleyball is telling regular Pearl, you know, all these things, and Pearl's like, no, she wasn't like that at all. I don't know what you're talking about. So it's like, it really kind of shows like you don't really know a person just because all the interactions you've had with them, because they interact with other people and they're going to have their own perspective on them, and you're going to see things that you don't see. So I thought that was kind of a nice little delve into Rose or Pink's backstory, and
it's a good lesson. Steven Universe is all about learning lessons.
It's a lesson not to be a dick to your friends.
Yeah, but I would say that they've also been really good about sort of demonstrating that, somebody can be really shitty like in their youth, but then they can come around and they can change, like, as they grow.
Right.
Which is what they demonstrate with, Pink Diamond sort of transitioning into being Rose Quartz.
If you could just change your mind.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
No, I mean, exactly. Yeah, no, it was really cool to see the interactions between two different pearls and two different parts of, Pink Diamond, Rose Quartz's life. What this sort of raises is sort of, I'm really hoping they do show off at some point, is that now we kind of got to see where the crystal gem pearl, like where she came from, because we've only seen her as sort of being the replacement for the original Pink Pearl or volleyball.
Right.
So it would be really interesting to see like what she was doing like before that. I think there seems to be like a theory around that she was maybe White Diamond's pearl, which I kind of feel like, and then she kind of just got replaced. I mean, of course, in this episode, they showed like there's the whole station for like personalizing your pearl and like for all the rejuvenation stuff. But in the movie, they kind of demonstrated that when pearls are like assigned to a person, they behave in a very particular way. And our pearl has never really exhibited. I mean, like they're not as obsessive over she wasn't as obsessive over Rose Quartz as she was obsessive over Greg when she got tied to him in the movie, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, yeah, Pearl's still, obsessed with Rose, but not in that specific way. So I feel like there's definitely something going on there. Like, I would like to see more of even more of Pearl's origin, because it feels like there's still at least like one aspect left that we have yet to see.
Yeah.
And then we also got to see what was it, Revolutionary Girl Utena version Pearl.
Oh, yeah.
On a cell phone.
Yeah.
I did like double pearl fusion. It kind of took me by surprise. I was not kind of expecting them to do that. But it showed up and I'm like, yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah, it does have the kind of Revolutionary Girl outfit to it.
Kinda. No, that's like straight up like that's unashamedly
as we all know, Rebecca Sugar is a fucking weeb.
How embarrassing.
I mean, Steven has just straight up Sailor Moon manga on his desk, so I mean, which is fine.
I mean, God, that's like that's like the least of the representation, the Weaver representation, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's just all over the goddamn place.
Yeah.
So the episode after this, I feel like a little bit of a hypocrite for liking, because I know my biggest complaint was like, okay, you need to advance the plot. Let's go. The episode where Aquamarine and Eyeball come back, and they just spend the entire episode just
as
spiting
Bluebird.
Steven.
They come back as Coconut Head, and they menace Steven.
They spend the entire episode just like, we hate you, and we're always going to hate you.
One thing I really liked about that episode is when she's giving Steven Earth food, somebody pieced together that those are the most common like allergens.
Yeah.
So they were trying to kill Steven by allergy.
Peanut butter and grass and seafood and I think there's something else, I can't remember what it was, but yeah, that was hilarious, because that was hilarious to just watch and be like, oh, it's like a random assortment of shit. It's like, no, that's specifically stuff that would have killed him if he was allergic to it. Like, that's amazing.
Right. But yeah, I don't know. I know this episode really doesn't push the plot forward, because I know it's like, oh, we have a new gem and like, Steven, you should be accepting of them, but Steven's like, nah, bro, there's something wrong with this. And yeah, it just turns out to be two from his rogues gallery just shows up and they're teaming up because they fucking hate him that much. And then at the end, they just kind of peace out and be like, "We'll be back someday."
After learning that they have because they kind of address like for like a hot second, they're like, "Oh, you can't maintain a fusion out of hate." Not like kind of like what they did with Malachite or whatever, but like they're like, "No, but we both hate you." Oh, really? Oh, that's right. We both hate you. That's
their driving force. Their mutual hate of Steven keeps them together.
And it works.
That's fucking hilarious.
We do get a notable death on this show of Greg's luscious locks.
Greg's hair.
Fucking rest in peace. The little foreshadowing with him combing his hair at the beginning of the episode. It's so fabulous. Fuckers.
He's
so
been
sad to see.
He's been growing it forever, and now it's gone.
Reminds me of how much this show fucking shafts Greg, though. Makes me sad.
Poor Greg.
Greg is like in the beginning. Oh, I want to help the crystal gems and stuff. I want to contribute, and then he never does. It's very sad.
Well, listen.
I think they offsetted anything they do to Greg by making him a fucking millionaire.
Exactly. They made him a multi-millionaire, and they made him well off. So.
And I love that when Greg becomes a millionaire, he doesn't like it. Like he has like one night out of the town to go crazy, but then he's all like, you know what? I'm happy with the car wash and stuff. I'm just gonna keep living my life. I could just kind of afford shit now.
Hey, honestly, that's relatable though. I feel like if I ever fell into a bunch of money like that, I'd more or less probably do the same thing. But literally do pretty more or less the same thing because I feel like I'd put a lot into like investing in, indie bands around the area and stuff too.
Dude, if I won the lottery, legit the first thing I would do is go pay off my student loans because that's how sad my life is.
Well, I mean, once you take care of all the shit that needs to be taken care of.
I want to make sure I'm debt free and then I'll go crazy. That way I can do it with, not where I have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
The episode after this, the very special episode, as it's called.
This might be one of my favorite episodes of what we've seen so far.
Oh, which is funny because this is like my least favorite.
How could you not love this episode? It's so good.
Only because of how it ends.
Yeah, but that's what makes it so good.
It's framed as a PSA safety video. And I like that you get what's Garnet and Steven's thing called again?
Sunstone.
I love Sunstone because she's a walking PSA.
She's a walking radical 90s character who skateboards and does PSAs. It's amazing.
Tells you safety tips.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I liked it for, really showing Steven he can't do everything. He can't be everywhere at once, and he's going to run himself ragged trying to do that. But for the entire episode to just end where it's just like, nope, Malachite or why did I say fucking Malachite? Sunstone was just like, nope, this is all a framing device, so I can teach you about time management.
It's a one-off joke, you dingus. It's not like that's what the.
I don't know. I don't know. It just didn't strike me right. And I guess and just in terms of all the episodes we have so far, it's just my least favorite of them. I guess it would be like the episode I'd probably return to the least out of all of these so far.
That's fair. It was really cool to see more fusions shenanigans with Sunstone and Rainbow Quartz 2.0 because we only got to see them for that little bit that we got them in Change Your Mind. So seeing all the Sunstone stuff with the gems and them just sort of going back and forth between Garnet's sort of safety sensibility and the combined Sunstone safety sensibility was really funny. And then of course but I would say the stronger parts of the episode was definitely the whole bits of the Rainbow Quartz and Pearl and Onion, where it just turns into it starts off as a Mary Poppins thing and then turns into a full blast horror movie by the end of it.
Onion's a fucking demon.
Also, I think Onion stole Greg's hair. There's a little line in there where Pearl's like, "Oh, that's a lovely bag of hair. Whose is it?" And it's like in the episode just before, Greg just lets his hair float down the ocean. Like,
you know what? That's now that you say it, that's the resolution I want out of this miniseries. What the fuck is wrong with Onion? Like, I need to know what the fuck he is.
Yellow diamond theories, and I'm like, damn, the dream.
It's like
it could have been great.
He's such a weird little mute, and he just does weird shit.
And he hasn't grown in what was it? How many years that's happened between?
Yeah,
it's about 3 now.
He's like perpetually the same age. Like, I still can't get over the episode where he watches his own birth video.
Oh, he makes Steven watch it.
Yeah, and it was fucking creepy. Like, who does that, you little weirdo?
I love Onion. He's probably the best character on the show.
I love Onion as a character, but like, I need to know what the fuck his deal is. It's driving me crazy.
I don't know that we're going to get those answers in future.
And that's probably the point.
And that's probably for the best. It's probably for the best, JD.
Probably. I probably won't like the answer.
Don't ask questions you're not prepared to handle the answers to.
The answer was love.
Oh, there you go.
Thanks,
the answer was love and friendship after all.
Thank you, Garnet.
Snow Day was an alright episode. I think.
Snow Day was amazing too. What's wrong with you? It brought back Steven Tag.
JD's just filled with the bad takes today, apparently.
Apparently. No, like
he was up front. He said
I was up front that I was not in the same camp completely as you guys. I do like the stuff with Steven himself, where he's overworked from trying to take care of the school, and he's frustrated with the gem seeing him perpetually as original Steven, where he's young
Classic
and naive. Steven Classic, yeah. So I do like that, and I like how he just kind of gets frustrated at the end and is like, "You guys are always treating me like a kid, but I'm not a kid anymore. I'm like burgeoning on adulthood," and I do like that. But just watching but it's kind of undercut, at least for me, a little bit with the whole Steven Tag thing, because it's such this kind of goofy, campy thing. That like, they just see that Steven is like, he's a little stressed out from work, so they probably see it as like, we're gonna help him have fun and kind of relieve some stress. But like, obviously for Steven, it kind of represents a deeper issue for him. So I don't know. There's bits and pieces I like. It's not a bad episode. I think maybe there could have been a better approach to tackle that issue with Steven, but you get Steven variants of all the fusions.
We sure do, except for Obsidian, but we do get the rest of them.
Right.
Well, except for the ones that involve Steven himself. But yeah,
right,
it's nice to see these giant Steven versions of like Opal and Sugarlight and Alexandrite.
Still no Nicki Minaj.
No, but that's fine. We don't need her. Yeah, no, it's just a very fun episode. We had a little breakthrough with Pearl. She's seen shape-shifting for the first time since she faked Pink Diamond's death.
Right.
So that was fun to see a Steven with little pointy pearl nose.
Yeah. I do like Garnet Steven, where he's got her glasses still on, and he just I don't know, it makes me laugh.
I think that might have been one of my favorite individual moments of that episode, was when they're like hiding and trying to ambush him. Garnet's just sort of like standing there on the stairs with like a photo frame in front of her face, like she's a photo of Steven.
Yeah, they portray Garnet kind of goofier in this show, more aloof, not aloof, but like
And that's honestly why I think Garnet is so funny, because like she's presented as like goofy but like completely serious at the same time. So it's like she's so nonchalant about how goofy she is, and I love it.
Yeah, no, it's great when they do that, because they've done that, in other. I mean, there was one episode of the original show, I can't remember the name of it, but where it was like the whole episode was like that, where she was just kind of going back and forth between like a bunch of like she was working at the Big Donut for a minute, and then like she adopts all the cats and.
Oh, is that when she could like her future vision was messing up, or she was like actively trying to not go against her future vision?
She's trying to follow like her critical path or something like that. But yeah, we saw a lot of like goofy Garnet in there too. And then
that episode gave us the best character. We got Cat Steven out of it.
Oh, we did.
Her one-eyed cat.
Oh, that's right. We saw Cat Steven in this episode too.
Garnet wanted help with Cat Steven.
He's a little bit grown too, just like the real Steven.
Yeah.
So I imagine not nearly as stressed out
or
depressed.
I think the episode with all the Lapis ones is probably my favorite so far. If only I. What'd you say, Nolan?
I can't imagine why.
Why, Nolan?
Lapis is so hot. Oh.
Not.
That's you.
No, Lapis really isn't high up on my Steven Universe waifu. No, I liked getting to see kind of reformed Lapis kind of faced with versions of herself that are old Lapis, like, you know, they run into these other two Lapises that are, you know, terraforming a planet. But new Lapis knows that's wrong, and they keep trying to
explain it.
Yeah, they're trying to explain through dance and song of why this is wrong. You should try to find other things that you like, but you know, Lapis Tome's like, we like terraforming planets. That's kind of our deal, and you know, I do like that by the end of it, they do get through to one of them, because Steven at some point is like, hey, if you guys want to come to the school on Earth, I mean, we'll help you figure this all out. And then by the end of it, one of them actually shows up, the other doesn't. But I don't know. I thought the whole having Lapis kind of face all of that, and like she gets into a fight with them and then decides that, like, you know what, it's kind of counterintuitive to fight these Lapises that are willing to change it all. Like, Lapis has changed so much. And I don't know. I think it was a good moment for her character, and I do like the development over time that they've given to her character. And you know, she towards the end there, you know, she was still kind of like in that kind of angsty, kind of aloof thing. But I feel like her interactions with Steven, at least in this miniseries, she's starting to come out of her shell a lot more. So.
Yeah, one thing I'm liking about Steven Universe is that they're introducing characters that aren't redeemed instantly, or that are not redeemable at all because they don't want to change.
Right.
Not everybody is capable of changing, so I like that a lot.
Well, it's funny because they kind of did that in the original show too with I think it was the episode, I can't remember which. I think it was Navy, the ruby with the belly button gem. That like came screaming back down to Earth, and like they kind of go through the whole thing in one episode, or it's like, you know, oh, you know, here we can teach you to, you know, be like this, blah blah blah. And she was like, oh, okay, awesome, I'm like this now, and then like she just tricks the hell out of him and takes the ship back. Like,
you can't help everybody is the overall lesson we're supposed to be learning here.
I did like this episode too. Just the Lapis song was really nice. The two different Lapises, or the two new Lapises that we saw, they're kind of different personalities, are really fun too. That one just like second where, like, you know, the Steven and Lapis have like a little team huddle, and then like they kind of backwards like dance out of the forest towards him. It's like it reminds me of I saw somebody else mention this, but there's a scene in the original in like one of the older seasons of The Simpsons where Homer just like opens the door and just does this weird sort of walk, and he's just like, what's up, Marge? Like, it kind of reminded me of that.
I think I've seen that before.
Yeah,
I have too.
It's really good. Yeah, the whole fight between the Lapises is really rad. Seeing that giant sort of like water version of Lapis with like the trident and stuff is rad. I really did like the quote like right after the end of that was really cool, where they were talking about what was it? The two Lapises were saying like, oh, with that show of strength, of course, yeah, we'll do whatever you say. And she was like, oh, that wasn't strength. Like patience is strength. That sort of thing. It was kind of a really neat thing to hear.
Yeah, it's kind of a nice subversion from what we're usually shown in other kind of action shows. It's I get, and again I have to kind of sometimes step back and remember this show is not for my age demographic. So trying to put my mind in a 10-year-old here, that is something that's good to hear, like showing like, no, you don't have to be like physically strong to do well in life. Real strength comes from restraint, being able to know when is not appropriate to get into things. So I think that kind of, I guess, moral is good to have there.
To find that they're strong in the real way.
Right, you're strong in the real way. So these last two episodes, I think, really embody what I think this miniseries is trying to get across, and I really think this is where it really picks up, and probably makes sense of why these are the last two before they went on break. Because you get the graduation of the they call the off colors. Is that what they call them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lars's space crew, they graduate from Little Home School. And you kind of meet up with a lot of the townies that you haven't seen in a while. And because Steven's been out in space, righting the wrongs of the diamonds, everyone else's life kind of went on without him, and he's missed so much, and that really fucks with them.
He's got that protagonist syndrome.
Yeah, he does.
Stuff happens without him there. Oh my god. Right?
Yeah, and he like gets mad about it. It's like, how dare you live your lives without me? It's like, bruh, you're fucking in space for like years. And he's like actively trying to get Sadie and Lars back together, even though like they've tried it. Sadie's with
Shep.
With Shep, a non-binary character, which I guess is a big deal.
Yeah, well, I mean, because it's the first. That's Steven Universe is really good about diversity and inclusion and stuff. It was really cool to see a non-binary representation here. That's not an alien.
Yeah, and I honestly don't. I can't keep up with all this stuff.
Tread carefully.
You honestly, I'm in the mindset. You guys do you. If it makes you happy, go for it. But I do like that they introduced Shep, and it is supposed to be this non-binary character voiced by a non-binary actor, which I thought was a nice touch.
Yeah, they're pretty good about doing
that. But outside of the news, like the media surrounding episode, the actual episode really doesn't bat an eye at it. Like,
well, then that's the proper way to do it.
And yeah, and that is exactly the way you should handle that kind of stuff. My wife and I don't know if you guys have heard, there's this new DreamWorks animated show on Netflix called Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beast or something.
I only just heard about it recently, but I don't know anything about it.
I don't know if this is a huge spoiler, but a couple episodes in, the main girl character, because there's two girls and a guy, they're wandering around in post-apocalyptic world. And the girl just straight up goes out to the guy and we're like, "Hey, I like you." And he's like, "Well, I don't know if you know this, but I'm gay." And that's really the most mention it's ever brought up. Other than he like has the weird inverted love at first sight thing with a dude later on. But if you're gonna bring this kind of representation in it, don't make a spectacle of it. Make it so it's like it's a normal thing. You're no different than everybody else. It's like, don't really bring attention to it, because
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, but like, it's definitely, I don't know, it's definitely a difficult topic to sort of broach, like,
Right.
especially
Like,
with sort of the mentality of like everyone running Hollywood and like cartoons and television shows and stuff now. It is great to see this sort of stuff starting to crop up more now, but they could have easily shot themselves in the foot with it here. But
right.
Steven
But
Universe has been really good about it.
yeah, and with Shep, I think they treated it very respectfully. They used the pronouns that they were supposed to using, but beyond that, they really didn't make a big deal about it. And to me, as someone, to me as a straight white male, um, it didn't come off to me as something weird because the show didn't make it weird. But I feel like the people that kind of representation matters to, they, it meant a lot more to them, and I'm glad that it did. I'm all for inclusion and whatnot.
Shep plays the electric saxophone, and I think
He
that's right.
does, and that's another interesting thing. It's like that's not really an instrument you see.
But yeah, basically the Steven gets pissed because stuff happens without him, and then he sort of traps them in a fractal bubble and almost crushes everyone to death.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, everyone's life has been going on without him, and then everyone is going to be like leaving, because like Lars has decided he's going to go back into space, and like Sadie and Shep are like going off into their own thing. So it's like, not only have people been living their lives without him, and he's totally out of the loop of what's been going on. They're also about to like leave him again, so it's like he's going to be even more without them, and that scares him.
Mood.
Right. Change is scary.
That's what the whole show's been about. It's change. So it's nice to see
Right.
like the negative, but also the positive aspects of change.
Right. Which kind of leads into the last episode we got, the one where you get Cactus Steven.
You mean
Where
Dexter's Secret?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, Steven like accidentally brings to life a cactus because apparently he's dealing with his emotional issues by gardening, but naming all his plants after people that are abandoning him, apparently.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's a totally healthy thing to do, right?
I think Amethyst mentions that too.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's good luck with that. But yeah, he brings this cactus to life and starts venting out to the cactus, not realizing that this cactus is evolving and growing and like taking in everything Steven is saying and becoming this violent monster, basically taking all of Steven's negative emotions and making it into a monster, literally.
Mm-hmm.
And it just furthers the proof that Steven needs to go to fucking therapy already.
Yeah, but this is what happens when he vents to people. They turn into a monster cactus and they almost kill your family. Well,
I meant like a trained professional, not like plant.
I don't know a trained professional can go through all that, man.
I think an Earth professional therapist could deal with the issues of loss and abandonment and not knowing your place in the world. I think those are universal feelings. So I want the next episode to just like smash cut to Steven on a couch talking to, whether it's Garnet or just somebody, just like, bruh, talk about your feelings. You get cactus monsters if you don't.
Oh man, I don't know. We got
bullshit, Steven.
We got that little leak for one of the upcoming episodes, and it doesn't sound like he's yeah.
Steven's not handling it in a healthy way.
And I don't know how far off that episode is, but no, it doesn't sound like it's going well.
Yeah.
But this particular episode, the stuff with the cactus monster and like growing all the different heads, and it's saying like all the different stuff he's been saying, all the negative stuff about the gems, and like how the gems can't even fight this thing because it's like, they mentioned the cactus is like the most resilient plant on Earth, and like
which kind of it's kind of always been a weird thing to me because like I don't understand how the gems feel physical pain, because they've even stated on multiple occasions that they don't have bodies; they're just light constructs. So I don't know. They kind of play fast and loose about like what they can and cannot feel.
Yeah,
That's
kind
fine.
of a hot mess.
But
It's fine.
you touch a cactus, so of course it's gonna hurt because of all the needles.
Listen, we got some really good Pearl expressions out of this episode. So
Yeah, it's true.
well, you know what? Honestly, like between this and a very special episode with like just her reacting to all the onion stuff, like it's been really good for expressions from Pearl this season. Like we haven't really gotten
good reaction images, everybody.
We haven't gotten stuff quite like this since the Uncle Grandpa crossover episode.
Oh God, I forgot that was a thing.
She had some really great reactions in that one, or expressions in that one too.
Yeah. Well, with this episode, it crosses off another villain from the intro sequence. We're just waiting on pissed off White Diamond and the horrifying demon dragon.
The wormy boy. Yeah, you mean Steven?
Oh, is Steven going to be the worm boy?
That's how everyone seems to think. That's the popular theory right now, and the way the show is playing out, it's starting to kind of look that way. He might like corrupt himself and turn into
his
that
literal
thing.
inner demons are going to come out.
He's going to turn into like the villain of the show, and honestly, that's a very interesting way for
He's
that.
He's just like his mom.
Well, maybe not exactly, but
Rose Quartz was the real villain of the show, and now he's being just like her. Am I way off base with that?
Oh, a lot of people have different feelings on the whole Rose Pink Diamond thing. We don't need to go into it here, but
Rose was a monster, and if you say otherwise, you're wrong.
No, Pink Diamond made a lot of mistakes and blah,
I'm not
blah,
getting
blah,
into this.
and blah, blah,
I'll fight you.
Anyway,
yeah.
Any other thoughts on Future?
I can't wait to see more. It's going in such a great direction. I just hope we get an announcement soon on if we're. I think the last I saw because they're doing a part 2 for the art book, and I gotta imagine they gotta have the whole rest of the show out before then. The part 2 of the art book comes out July 28th, I believe, which is 2 days after my birthday, which is rad.
Nice.
So I think at least before like the summer ends, we should be getting all the episodes, but we haven't heard anything. We don't know when the next batch of episodes are coming out. That's the reason why we did this episode talking about episodes 1 through 10, because we honestly don't know when the next batch of episodes is going to drop. So we might as well just cover this out there now instead of waiting until they're all out to cover everything.
Right, and we'll probably do another episode once the rest of it comes out, and kind of
the next Steven bomb.
The next Steven bomb comes out.
Here we fucking go, lads. Again,
yeah.
It's bullshit.
Right. Like I said, I'm still not convinced this miniseries was wholly necessary for the overall plot of this show. I am liking the majority of what I'm seeing. I do like the whole focus on Steven's character. And I am interested to see what their end game is. And it's fucking Steven Universe, so I'll watch it no matter what it is.
I feel like the pacing's on point with like what the original show did though too, because it took like basically a whole season for the original Steven Universe to get like really going too.
To get to any sort of real plot.
Once they like got to like the cracked mirror, and like they introduced Lapis and kind of gave way to this whole stuff with like homeworld and stuff. Like that's kind of like the same thing with this show. We're like, we're starting to kind of get like really into the meat and potatoes of like probably what the whole point of the show is gonna have been building to.
I need them taters, man. Need it. Nolan, you got any closing thoughts here?
Wrap Greg up. Wrap his character up real good, please. Give me something. Give me something with Greg, please.
I would like to see a little more Peridot, please. I like that she's in the intro to every episode, but just I've only seen her like.
Yeah, she hasn't really done anything so far.
And the same thing with Bismuth,
what the fuck
too.
happened to Connie? She was like in the first episode and just pieced out this entire show.
Connie's definitely going to be playing like a key role later on, and that's the reason why she can't. If she was around for most of these episodes, I don't think that we'd be having all the problems that we have with Steven.
It's just like,
not nearly to that degree anyway.
Was she even at the graduation party?
No, she's like studying abroad or something like that.
Is that what she's doing? Maybe I missed that. It's been a while, man.
In the very first studying abroad, she's just studying for college.
Yeah, in the very first episode, they do that.
Yeah,
they do that joke where it's like the lo-fi hip hop.
It's lo-fi beats to study too. I got that joke. So yeah, it's like she literally like shows up at the very beginning of the series, and she's disappeared for 10 episodes.
Well, they kind of wrote her off from the movie too. I feel like some of this stuff works better without her there, though. Like, there's people that are complaining for good reason that she hasn't been in the show, but like, I feel like once they do bring her into the show, it's gonna make sense why they had to kind of keep her away in order for all this sort of conflict to build up.
And she ascended the staircase and was never seen again.
She's gonna come back, damn it. She didn't die.
She had to return to her people and died on the way there.
God. Connie's coming back. Jasper's coming back. I feel like both of them are going to be key to sort of, if Steven does end up corrupting himself.
To fight the Steven dragon.
Yeah, probably. But also, yeah.
You know what? If the theory does prove to be true and Steven turns into a fucking worm dragon, I'm going to fucking die.
You might die.
I might die. You're calling here. Yeah. Calling it here. Well, there you go, guys. There's our thoughts on the current crop of Steven Universe Future episodes. Let us know what you're thinking of this miniseries in the comments, and what you're looking forward to whenever Cartoon Network deems us worthy of the rest of the series. Thank you guys for joining us. Nolan, thanks for hopping in here with us and giving us your supposedly hot takes.
Yeah, thanks, Nolan.
Yeah, spicy hot. Good. I love red peppers.
Gotta get them tamales, man. Yeah. Alright, everybody.
Every pony.
See you, everyone.
We'll see you next week with another episode. Take care.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Ink and Paint Club podcast. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter to keep up with the show. Join our Discord to chat with us, and subscribe to our Patreon for some cool bonuses. Links are in the description. We'll see you next time.